Hi all, welcome to race number 10 of the F1 My
Our new
TeamCareer
parts have
with
been completed without issue.
the
They'll
career.
be on the car ready for
And
the next race
the big
weekend.
thing, obviously, we've got quite a lot of prep stuff to do, we've got a lot of days to play with, but we also have to get planning shortly as well for career. We're also going to work hard on improving like the acclaim of the team and all that good stuff. But plenty to do, get our teeth into it, and hopefully we'll be sorted in due course. Obviously cash is still a bit of an issue, but I'm sure with a bit more driving we'll be fine. But as always folks, welcome to Smash. It's always sub to channel if you're new from Twitter, G's Legend. All links are down below for posting channel and social media links.
As we continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Been enjoying it. Adjusted the difficulty a little bit more. Pushing into expert now. Feel expert is now where we're at for difficulty standard. Obviously got a new third sponsor to look at on the car. I'll definitely mind and get the sponsor onto the car. Now the big question is, who do we go for, and like it kind of ticks the boxes, because I realistically want one that's not really a finish in this kind of position element, because if I'm adjusting the difficulty I want to be prepared for that kind of shortfall. But ones that stand out are ones that kind of look mostly focusing on doing so many like laps. Like I would say there's a few that seem to be standing out at the moment. There's a couple that I've seen with like do like 100 laps over a race weekend. That might be doable, but at the same time maybe not, because some tracks are quite easy, and also I don't do many laps, if I'm honest. Like I generally do maybe say 10 to 15 practice laps, but I'm obviously covering everything that needs done for like objectives like that you have to do for like tyre management, ERS management, track acclimatization, and then you've also got to factor in the race strategy and qualifying pace. So that's like 50, so say 15 laps there, then you've got 15 maybe lap. Career might do a pile through the weekend. I'll then end up doing a pile. Obviously you've got your like qualifying, I generally just do one lap. So 100 laps could be a bit tough, but I suppose it's a challenge worth going for. If it doesn't work out necessarily, then we maybe readdress that balance when the contracts come up for renewal. But obviously as well, we're going over the table. As you can see, we're ahead of Albon, which maybe is a bit unrealistic in a sense, but I suppose if we're still doing, if we were high hard already, pushing into elite expert might just put us back a little bit. But saying that, as we've said, with some of these tracks we are pretty competitive. But yeah, I'm spending quite a bit of time looking over the weekly income, goal bonus, and the length of the contract, and I'm taking quite a bit of time on this, but I'm trying to find the one that for me that I'm most satisfied with, and I think satellite is where we're going to go with for now. Ticks a lot of the boxes, but I'll get their sponsor on the car as well. I'll find a good space for them, but we're definitely ticking a lot of the boxes. Now you'll see how this is panned out. You've only got the race from a different view. We monumentally mucked up in a big way. The footage for the race usually after the first segment, what I usually do is I then space it out, so it's like that'll be that first segment you see, I record that first, and then I record I end up doing practice and qualifying, because I like to record that segment just in case there's anything notable, and then I'll record the race. What I decided to do was I recorded the whole lot from the practice and qualifying. It turned out practice and qualifying did not it corrupted completely. There was nothing to work with, which was annoying. But we qualified P11. What happened was we scraped through to Q2 by the skin of our teeth. We absolutely had a disastrous lap, we then had Q2 arrive, and we went out in the rain. It got dry. It was pretty much like 2 minutes to go for a flying lap. It was like literally one chance or you were out, and we literally were part of the group that mucked up. And like Bottas was on the cusp of going out as well until luckily his time was just quick enough. So we qualified P11. We went out on the hard tyres, medium tyres for our first stint. So what we've done is we've had to, and we ended up just for the whole race, we had no race footage at all. Like, it was only until I could always check after the race, I'll see my footage, see what's in good condition, what can we work with and so forth. But we literally had nothing. The race did not record, so it was like, great. So we ended up having to just jump into the replay footage. I didn't want to go to the highlights because the highlights footage works quite short and quite condensed. So, but also worth noting that the actual race was quite possibly one of the most boring races I have ever been in. Literally nothing happened in this race. And I mean nothing. Like literally, all it was for about 14 laps was me just going round, and there was no challenge. Like literally no one in front of me, no one behind me. Not even I think the only time I got a remote bit of challenge, I think it was Sainz behind me, and it was before he went in the pits. I think he took me on like a bend just before it, which was a bit annoying really. Like he took me just before the pits, and it was like he just caused like a 2-car smash. I was like, what was the point in that? I don't fully understand why, but yeah, we literally started P11, took a few spots, and that was literally it. We just literally went round on the medium tyres, and we went from there. I will also say that we go back to Career, because Career is actually more exciting than us. But yeah, this was one of these races I honestly cannot believe that actually happened. That the footage did not go to plan. Like, record as usual, and it did not go to plan. And also it's quite different to actually do it this way. It just shows you a different vibe. But for me, for what I've seen of this track, it's a fun track, but it is so easy to. This is even easier than Canada to get exceed track limits constantly, or corner cutting. Mostly track limits. I think I had like 2 or 3 very early, and I think I was on the cusp of like a 3-second penalty, 2 or 3 second penalty. But it's so easy to just kind of like make a mess of your corners. But it was like, it's a nice alternative camera view, and you get to see like cinematic wise. But like Sainz's McLaren was definitely quick in this race. He was very, very, very quick. Like, I was actually also the only driver out on, I think, mediums. I think before the race started, I think literally everyone was on softs. I was the only medium. But I like that camera angle there, like me just blasting through there, like I think it's like 160 mph, and this is where Sainz starts to get a little bit aggressive here, because I think these guys pitted in very, very early, like lap 4, I think, 3 or 4, and if you're on like the mediums it's like lap 9, I think, 8 or 9. But I was trying to be defensive, trying to hold off Sainz, and we blast through, try to keep to quite a rigid line. On we get the start finish line. You see how close that was between us both. That could have ended both our races there. But I think at this point DRS was obviously enabled, but not early enough to kind of impact us. But yeah, this was one of these races where once cars started to pit, it was like the track was already opening up very, very early, but it was just so boring. It was like, there was like no dramas, there was no nothing. You could just watch. It was just a case of just going round and just made sure you kept the car in one piece, made sure you kept an eye on the fuel, because I put the fuel down quite a bit. So yeah, Sainz took us here, but me thinking, nah, I'm not giving up this spot without a fight. I knew fundamentally Sainz was going to be quicker because he was on the softs. I thought, let's go for it. Try and make a bit of a battle for it, but like, I've not learned the track well enough yet to know where's good overtaking spots. You kind of need the AI to kind of go wide, and it's just generally the straights. So yeah, I'm sure he's going into the pits here. I'm sure it's this section here. Or is it after? Yeah, he goes in the pits now, so it's like literally, okay. So it's like half a lap that he's in front of me. And I'm sure DRS enables here, so I can literally just blast through and start to catch up. But yeah, this is quite an anticlimactic race name, which is a bit of a shame, but is what it is. But I'll maybe jump over to career and for a little bit, and after this I'll just run back in the background and you can get your thoughts on this one, folks. As I said, anticlimactic in the end, how this race panned out for everybody. as we were saying as well, it's when I was looking over this race, it's funny seeing like Career's got more excitement at his end of the track than what was at my end of the track. Like he's got, I think it's like Hassies, and he's got some of the Alpha Tauris, and I think some of the Williams in that pile. Like it was just in racing points. It's just one of those races where it was more kind of like engaging for him, for the AI, than what I was getting. But regardless, I think looking at everything, I'm probably going to have to still look at a new driver. For what I've seen with some of the votes, everyone was kind of consensusly saying get rid of Correa and look at Aitken or De Vries. There was a few, I think, hinting others, but I haven't said who. But in general, though, it's kind of that kind of way that we're looking at. But like, we've put a fair bit of effort in the first season, like first half of this season, just trying to get like Correa competitive at least. And especially when we thought how Bahrain went for him, we thought, oh, he's got half like positive signs. That like, especially when in Bahrain it looked like he would start to kick on maybe a little bit, and it's never really materialised. Obviously, he's had like a DNF as well this part of the season, but he's, from what I've seen, the pace isn't there, and he's not, say, aggressive enough. So, as I said, it's maybe been a case of we've hoped we've had the right kind of driver, but it's just not quick enough to be competitive. And part of it comes down to hopefully improving the car, and as much as we can for him, for maybe the next couple, could I suspect Austria could be like his last race. I might have to, as I said, cut ties with him and look elsewhere. But yeah, as we said, when we seen this race in the end, it was like it was more interesting. Like the AI in general, though, it wasn't very attacking, because there's a lot. Like when you look at this track, a lot of it you knew right away where there's a lot of DRS based sections, and the AI wasn't even really attacking. Like that section here, I genuinely thought the AI would attack, but it never materialised. Like once, because clearly looking at Correa's not got the DRS, but as everyone else behind him will, and he's also got the element of, like, yes, he's been defensive, but there's no real defence to show. So like when you watch this here, like if I was the car behind, I'd be right behind, and like they're not, like, yes, they've not obviously tried to overtake but they've not, say, tried to get the overtake and the DRS enabled through, well, ERS and DRS respectively. Like some great angles, I won't deny, but he's not really doing much to kind of catch up anyone. Like the gap's not really getting smaller, just seems to be getting marginally bigger as the kind of, because you've got to remember as well, the cars that are in front of him, they're going to have DRS, so you'd assume they're just going to utilise the DRS, and it's just going, the gap will just eventually get bigger. Like, and finally the AI decides to tries to overtake him, and like he's got the inside line, whereas they've got the outside line, and it's side by side, and he eventually gets overtaken. But it's kind of like, and he's getting done both ways. All three are going to take him. Yeah, all three took him in the end. That is actual good stuff. That is actual comedic stuff. So he's lost like three slots in the space of like a couple bends. Yeah, so that's maybe kind of signals maybe Austria will be his last race for Legend Racing. He's tried his hardest for us, but it's not to be in the end. But yeah, so joys of how this race has panned out for him. As I say, in the end we finished like, it was quite an anticlimactic race, as we said, and the main thing really now is just kind of wrapping up the press stuff, just dealing through that. I always find that interesting when they always go on, like, you've always got to be wary of what you kind of go for an answer, because like we didn't really cut through the field. We only did one. It was like one bend, like the first bend, and that was like literally it. So it's like you try and see yourself, what's even like a fair answer to this, because you don't want to kind of hamper like certain departments' morals, but at the same time you've just got to kind of be honest about the approach. But Power's definitely get that through the way. I love how they always kind of refer back to the underestimation. Like at the end of the day, the team has kind of put a good car together. I'm happy with it, and we've just got to keep knuckling down and hopefully get a good second half, like get the European spin out the road, have a good finish with that, and then focus on like the final kind of like push, as it were. Like we would do like Singapore and Japan and stuff, because Suzuka is like one of our strong circuits, but Singapore's not so. But
appreciate your time.
and then obviously when we finish in Abu Dhabi, and then obviously Brazil's one of our favourite circuits as well. So there's still got some negatives and positive circuits to look forward to, strong and weak circuits. But hopefully you still enjoyed this despite the muck up with footage. As you can see, rivalry breakdown finished 4 and 2 to us. We went with Danny Ricciardo for the new rivalry. Seemed most logical with the change of difficulty, but all in all, satisfied. So smash the like, troubles folks, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter, take it easy all, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.